Welcome to Care Lab.
No. This isn't Care Lab. This is Care Lab Hot Takes.
Okay, so what are hot takes?
Hot takes are when we talk about a caregiving issue that is happening right now, affecting us now.
Oh, so let's get started. And if you like what you hear, make sure you like and subscribe. Hey everybody, welcome to Care Lab Hot Takes.
Hot takes. It's hot.
I got a hot take for you. I saw this data and it was super surprising to me, and we can talk about it. So the hot take is men and women experience caregiving differently in their lives. And you're like, well, why? Like, if I'm a daughter or a son taking care of my parent, what difference does that make whether I'm a daughter or a son? And I'm not even talking about like more women take care of others than men do.
Right.
I'm actually talking about
this is separate from that. Okay.
They experience it differently, and the question is why. Okay. So the data says that among male caregivers, 61% report that becoming a caregiver had a positive impact on their relationship with their parents, which is great.
Yeah.
But for women, only 53% said it had a positive impact. Women also are more likely to report that caregiving had a negative impact on their physical health and a negative effect on their emotional well-being. So, like, we're taking it harder as women. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that there are probably a lot of layers of complexity here that go into that. Like, I don't think there's a single answer, but I do think that at least part of this is probably because, men and women are still, at least in our generation, who knows, like for our kids, this could be really different, right? But we're both in our 40s. A lot of people in the sandwich generation are going to be like our age or maybe a little bit older. And so we're still of a generation where men and women were raised in really different ways for the most part. And where a lot of like traditional gender roles have still applied. So, if you're a woman, you were probably raised to expect to be the caregiver, in a lot of your relationships, expected to be the primary caregiver of your children, expected to be, a lot of times it's like the oldest daughter is often expected to be the primary caregiver for their parents when they get older. And I think that when you're shouldering more of that caregiving workload, especially in a multi-generational context where you had just spent the last 10 years raising babies, and now you also have your kids and your parents, that can be a lot more overwhelming than having been in a position where maybe your spouse was the primary person who was responsible for a lot of like the physical or emotional workload of raising the children. And then so maybe you have a little bit more free space to take away some of the really positive things that you can get from caregiving, if this is your first real kind of foray into that kind of heavy duty job. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I think so. And also the article I got this data from talks about that in slightly different ways. It's more like, but it's the whole theme is still about like socialization and the way we're socialized. And like one thing that I think is kind of interesting is that it's highlighting a gap in self-expression, that women are more feel okay about emotionally expressing themselves. And so part of it might just be machismo saying, yeah, I'm doing good. This is better, even though it might not be, but they're reporting it this way because they feel like they need to do that. Whereas women maybe don't feel that as much. And women being more self-critical and feeling more criticized and more critical about themselves and about how this has impacted them. And so it's just super interesting because while this is a physical thing that has to get done to like care for somebody else, there's so much like emotion tied to it. Both on the part of like who you're connected to, who you're caring for, but also how you think about yourself and how your mind frame is about the work. And I think it just highlights that we need to take caregiving seriously. And by we, I mean like society. And like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be like a cast off thing. We should have a structure around how we do this, how we talk about it, and how we support it, because it's super impactful.
Yeah. I think the other thing that I would want to like point out about that data too is 61% of men felt like they had a more positive relationship after caregiving. 53% of women thought that they had a more positive relationship after caregiving. There's a whole other side of that statistic, like the 39% of men who didn't feel that way after
Mm-hmm.
caregiving. You know, hold on, the 47%, I can do math in my head sometimes.
Good job. Good
Um,
job.
the 47% of women who didn't feel that way after caregiving. And so I think that really again points back to what you just said, was that people are going to have a wide range of experiences, but this is a big job. It is a hard job. And however
Mm-hmm.
people are framing it up for themselves, it is something that we have to take seriously as a society in order to, as much as possible, make this not something that we're talking about in terms of like caregiver burden, right? But in terms of like a shared societal, um, what's the word I'm looking for? This is a community issue, right? We're all
Mm-hmm.
in this together. And if
Mm-hmm.
we can make it a community issue instead of an individual person issue, probably that's going to be healthier for everyone.
That's it. That's it right there.
There we
Join
go.
us next time on Care Lab.
Hot takes.
Bye.